Welcome back po. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Welcome to Lira and Law on your usual Thursday evening get-together between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. And you have me, I am your host. Ang pangalan ko po Lira Simon Kabatbat. I am a solicitor in the United Kingdom of, my gosh, 33 years post-qualification. Pa hindi kasama pa yung pag-aaral, yung training, anything like that. It's 33 years. So over 3 decades of experience, which I hope will be of help to you out tonight. I'm a solicitor at Douglas Simon Solicitors. We are a solicitors firm in Greater London, in Richmond actually, yung dulo ng district line. Okay, so if you're ever down in our neck of the woods, it's the one very near to Richmond. Actually, it's a beautiful place, Richmond. You know, even if I do say so myself, it's we have this massive royal park, and I think it's actually the biggest walled park in Europe. And there are deer, there are all sorts of wildlife now, but the deer roam freely no? So it could be, no, naglalakad ka, suddenly there's a massive red deer, or the cute little ones, like the Bambi ones. They're called, I think they're actually called um, fallow deers. So it's a yeah, so it's anyway, it's a lovely part of London nga. But welcome, and I know mga viewers natin, you come from everywhere. I know we have viewers nga from London, from Derby, from Manchester, and of course all over the world, no. So thank you for tuning in and spending your precious time with me. I do hope nga that it's helpful to you and it's interesting, because I do so enjoy it. So salamat po. Now, just as usual, we have great questions and a great topic. And as usual, also, we're going to try and deal with it in a very practical way. So ang topic po natin nga ngayon, let me just show you, so ang topic natin nga ngayon is visit visa applications. No, what essentially to the application form nga mismo. This comes actually from the idea is from one of our viewers, as usual nga. It's not exactly what the question is about. Ito po. So babasahin ko nga, I'll come back to this question, but you'll see, makikita nyo doon, sabi nga niya, no, I need your help regarding my mother's UK visit visa application. Sabi niya, I just realized that I mistakenly switched her given name and surname in the application form. Unfortunately, she already completed her biometric just yesterday. Before we noticed the error, I've already sent an inquiry to UKVI, paid the fee of £2, but I'm really worried because the name on the application doesn't match her passport. According to my mother, the VFS staff did ask her about her name and surname during the appointment, but at the time we weren't aware of the mistake. What would be the best thing to do in this situation? Should we cancel the application and reapply, or is there another way to correct it? So this gave me then the idea. So I will be dealing with this question nga in quite a lot more detail in a moment. Yung question. So kung nanonood ka, yung viewer natin, stay tuned, no? Because I've actually looked into this issue quite a bit. Pag-uusapan natin maigi nga mamaya. But because of this question, I thought, actually, we deal with the issue of visit visas quite regularly because it's a very popular topic nga, no? But what we have not done before, and what I will do tonight, is actually look at the application form nga mismo. So I've downloaded the application form itself. No, makikita nyo, papakita ko sa inyo. And I'll be dealing with some. I mean, there's no point dealing with the whole form because some sections are fairly self-explanatory nga. But I will be dealing with if you like, yung mga sections nga na nakakalito. No? And where my clients often make mistakes, and they're actually understandable mistakes nga. And as usual, I'll see if I can give you some hints nga, practical tips as to how best to deal with some of the trickier questions. So we're going to go through the whole form actually, no? The whole form, no? I'm going to I will be uploading that. So I'll take you through the form from page 1, really, no? As I say, some sections nga we did not really deal with, but I'm going to focus on the part that can be a bit confusing, and also anything else that may be of help to you, no, on a practical basis nga when you're completing this form. So pag-uusapan po natin nga ngayon, as I say, thank you very much for the viewer that sent this question nga, because this gave me then the idea of dealing with making application. So this making application, visit visa application, pero titingnan nga natin mismo yung application. Okay? So it promises, as usual, to be an interesting and impactful night. So huwag kayong aalis if you're already watching, no? But if you are not yet tuned in, tingnan nyo, relo nyo, no? It's 7:30. It's Lira and Law time. And if you are watching, tapos you nahihiya kayo, you think, oh, maybe maybe I'll just watch. No, don't be on the sideline. Say hello, batiin nyo ako, no, please. Alam nyo naman, I always say, because it's true, yung section nga natin, the batian section, is my favorite, absolutely favorite section nga. So kung gusto nyo akong kamustahin, don't be shy. Just between us, no? Say hello, yeah? Kung meron kayong mga questions, it's not too late, no? If you catch me, what's I'm on, I'll see if I can deal with it also. Now, so without further ado, we're going to take a quick break nga lang, and then we're going to launch into our topic. Saglit nga lang po. Welcome back to Lira in Law. I am your host, Lira Simon Kabatat of Douglas Simon Solicitors. Topic po natin ngayon is making a visit visa application. But, as usual, practical tayo, no? We're going to look at the application nga mismo. Yeah. So, let me take you through the application form. All right. So, let me just see if I can bring it up for you. So, you can see it nga on screen. Yeah. So, ito yung star question nga natin. Pero titingnan nga natin ngayon yung form na ito mismo. Okay? So, page 1. I've had to, this is actually an actual application. No? So, it's we always try to be practical. This is an application that I submitted nga. No? But of course, hindi nga kasama dito yung pangalan ng mga kalayante ko at mga details nga. But this is the form that I completed. So this is a visit visa application, otherwise known as tourist application nga. And it's the typical 6-month standard visa application. So itong page 1, ito makikita nyo, when you make an application, and you of course do this online, okay? Ito makikita nyo, ito when you printed it out, ang makikita nyo is just the questions nga lang. Pagka natapos na, this is what you get. Okay? Now, so let me just take you through page 1. So una nga dito, so makikita nyo, type of visa application, visitor visa, tourist visa basically. Now, I put in red the sections that I'm going to be looking at particularly. You know? So total fee. The total fee at the moment, it went up actually not too long ago. It was 145 US dollars, but now it's 178. Okay? You pay actually in US dollars, not in pounds. So you'll find that there's always a kind of slight, there may not be exact. It could be that you're paying in pounds, a few pounds in rounded up. So it's at the moment, it's 178 US dollars for 6-month visit visa. And it's a multiple visit visa. So it's not so bad. No? Now, so yan. So, contact language, of course, kung komportable kayong Tagalog, nilagay yung Tagalog o Filipino o English. No? Because it's when I submit applications, I normally put down English nga, because it's so that other people, not just me, can understand it when we look through when it arrives, if there are questions nga in the office. Also, I find that it's I get faster, no, reaction replies nga if I put down contact language is English. Maybe they has to go through something else if you put Tagalog. No? So yun. So ito po yung page part of page 1. So let me just scroll up. Papakita ko din sa inyo. So there are other things to look at, no? So ito, personal information. I mean, the personal information, again, most of that is self-explanatory, but I put in red. This is where people oftentimes begin to have issues, no? That so sabi dito nga, no? Kita niyo, what is the main reason for your visit to the UK? Now, ito, usually I put down tourism. Okay, which it is tourism, and I put in brackets normally kung meron kayong mga pamilya nga dito, mga kaibigan dito, including visiting family and friends. Yan. Okay. Now, so normally the next two bits are not an issue, and then the next bit that sometimes people find difficult is, what is the main reason, no, for your holiday visit to the UK? And it should be what the main reason is. Kung pupunta nga kayo dito dahil nandito ang nanay nyo, tatay nyo, mga kapatid, put down visiting family. No, I always put down rather visiting family, because that's the case. That's what you want to do. If it's not, because you're coming to the UK to see the sites, or meron kayong event, lagay niyo yan, no? Okay. And then same thing. So the next bit there is, give details of the main purpose of your visit and anything else you plan to do on your trip. Then it goes on to say, see tourists and short stays for more information. Now, you don't have to try and squeeze it all in there. No, I'll tell you why in a moment. Because of statements nga. But normally dito, nilalagay ko, visit and look after. So kung ano man. So kung nandito kayo dahil gusto nyong may sakit ang nanay nyo, may sakit ang tatay nyo, may sakit kapatid nyo nga, then I would normally put down, in those circumstances, visit and look after family. When you're looking after family nga in the UK, that's allowed. That's not employment. No, you're allowed to visit your family. If they've just been discharged from hospital. But normally, you can't actually squeeze everything in that you want to say. That normally, kung meron kayong balak pumunta nga dito, it's many things altogether. It could be that you're visiting, but you also want to you're visiting a whole load of family. No. In the course of that, it could be na meron kayong balak pumunta to celebrate a birthday or to celebrate a wedding, no? And rather than trying to squeeze it into that section, normally ginagawa ko, nagprepare ako ng statement. This is actually one of the questions kanina mamaya, no? Statements are sometimes referred to as affidavits, but sa akin, ang tawag ko, statement. So, paano bang affidavit nga? And so, lalagay ko nga doon, ano bang dahilan? No? Why are you coming to the UK? Why now? No? How long do you want to stay? And lalagay ko nga din doon, sino bang sa kayo titira? Sinong sasalo sa inyo? No? Expenses if someone's paying for your costs, for example. So, I put in there, usually, this section nga, ang nilalagay ko, please refer to applicant statement. That's normally how I deal with that section nga. Now, there are a few more things to actually, by the same token, let me have a look at page 2. Okay, so sandali nga, page 2 natin. So, this is another bit that causes people some concerns, or at least I always get asked this, no? So, first question nga dito, do you date you plan to arrive in the UK, and then date you plan to live in the UK? Nakakalito to, dahil nga, mga tao, sabi na, well, okay, kung lalagay ko within 3 weeks, baka hindi pa matapos yung application. No? O kung lalagay ko 6 months from now, baka napakalayo naman. The starting point, you should put down what's the truth. Anong balak nyo? Okay? But of course, be realistic also. Because it's unlikely na matatapos nga within 2 weeks yung application, especially kung hindi kayo laging nagbiyabiyahe nga, no? Just it could be that you're looking at 3 months for applications to be dealt with. So be realistic, no? So plan your need to you're arriving in the UK. Pero sabihin natin, lumagpas na, no? Nagpasok kayong application, natagalan yung application nga, tapos lumagpas na. That does not mean na hindi kayo bibigyan ng application. And that is why ng visa. That's why it's important you prepare a statement. Because in your statement, lagay nyo doon, you want to enter the United Kingdom. Okay, let's take today's date, July tayo, no? You want to enter the United Kingdom towards the end of August, sabihin natin, no? To be realistic. So you're looking at about 6 weeks nga. 6-7 weeks. Maybe because it's someone's birthday, or maybe because the people are going on holiday and you want to go with them, no? To Scotland and other places nga like that. Pero lagay nyo din dun sa statement nyo that you appreciate that there's no definitive time nga na matatapos yung application nyo. And in that event, you still wish to enter the United Kingdom because you will still wish to visit your family, no? But you would, of course, prefer to arrive within that time in order to be able to join them, for example, for their holiday, or to be able to join them for their celebration nga. So that's why importante nga yung statement, because that then gives you if you like, the possibility of addressing, o kung matagalan nga yung application, what does that mean? No? So, lagay niyo dito yung petsa. It doesn't give you much room for anything else. Yung petsa, kailan yung balak dumating dito at kailan yung balak lumabas. Now, that's another thing. People say, well, kung lalagay ko 6 months, baka magduda sila. You put down what the facts are. No? So, don't lie. No? Kailangan yung lagay nga yung totoo. No? So, kung 6 months nga ang balak nyo, di lagay nyo 6 months. But in the statement, you should also say why you're looking at 6 months. For most people coming to the UK, can be a once in a lifetime thing. Dahil mahal nga ng pamasahe papunta dito, no? And people are not always free for that length of time. So it could be that that's what you want to do. That you are being, if you like, you're being treated nga because, so for example, meron ko kliyente dati, she wanted to bring in her, I think she was her niece at the time nga, kaga-graduate nga lang, no? So she wanted to give a trip to the UK as a present. And because she just graduated, bata pa yung bata, she wanted her to come into the UK for the maximum, which is 6 months. And that was fine. So sabi nga namin, she's looking to take a gap year, which is actually what she then did. A gap year, then dito siya for 6 months. She wanted to come for 6 months and enjoy the sights, enjoy the United Kingdom for that time. So yun nilagay nga namin. Now, if it's not going to be that, if it's only 2 weeks, then put down 2 weeks. But do apply for the 6 months. We can discuss also the 6 month visit visa, and why it's perhaps useful anyway to make that application on a multiple visa, no, in case plans change. Now, if you put down 2 weeks, tapos you actually then stay 6 months, you may find, doesn't have to be, but you may find next time, magpapasok yung application, it could be that the Home Office says, well, hang on, nilagay nyo dati 6 weeks, no, or 2 weeks. Tapos, you stayed for 6 months. So, we have concerns about that. Baka magdududa sila. Because actually what you've said on the application form is not reflected by what had actually then later happened. So be careful, no? Where things actually change, plans change. So next, sabihin natin, pumasok nga kayo dito. Nakakuha yung 6 month visa. Pumasok nga kayo dito. Sabi nyo, dito lang kayo for 2 weeks. Natagalan nga kayo dito. Explain in your next application why that is. Don't just think, oh, well, baka hindi nila mapansin. They will see it because they will look at they will look at your history. Oh? So it's better to deal with it. And you can say, ano bang nangyari? It could be that, in fact, your plans changed, o may nagkasakit, and for that reason, rather than staying only 2 weeks, you actually ended up staying 3 months. And also say, so explain nga, ano bang nangyari? So you have to be sensible when you're submitting applications, in that you need to be factual, but also at the same time, don't assume na alam nila. No? It's for you, it's your application. So you need to say why, you need to provide the explanation. Okay. So I spent quite a bit of time on that because that is actually one of the sections that provide people considerable confusion. Okay. And as I say, kung ang balak nyo, labas-pasok nga kayo dito, then make an application for a multiple visit visa, not a single entry one. So, ibig sabihin, kung makakuha yung visa nga ngayon, you're coming to the UK nga ngayon, and then you want to come back in, say, 3 months time uli for another couple of weeks, you can do that, you know, because then you already have a visa for that duration of time, for the 6-month period. Okay? Now, let me look at the next bit here. Now, so given names and family name. No, sorry. Let me just go up. Yeah, that's it. So given names. Sandali. Page 2. Tingnan ko. Yeah. So, yon. So, yan. So personal information. No. Given names and family names. I highlighted that because it's easy to make this mistake. As our star question nga, no, put forward. So easy. No. But given names also, what does that mean? No, given names. And the family name, do you put down the full name, tapos do you put down the family name on top? No. Given names, ang pangalan nyo, yung middle name nyo. Sa atin, of course, ang middle name natin usually, yung pangalan ng nanay natin. No? So hence I am Lira Simon Kabatbat. No? It's it so the first section nga, given names, ako, kung akong applicant nito, lalagay ko Lira Simon, no? Simon being my middle name, pangalan ng nanay ko, no? And then family name, yung apelyido mo, apelyido ko, Kabatbat, no? So yun, it would not be given names Lira Simon Kabatbat tapos Kabatbat at the bottom. No, it would be Lira Simon tapos yung sa baba, family name Kabatbat. Again, easy mistake to make. And there's no guidance really, for this section nga. So yun. Now, also where it says here, are you now or have you ever been known by another name? Importante po to, especially sa mga taong kinasal nga dati, babae, no? So if you were married before and you had a different name, put it down. Or if you're married now, and of course, you maiden name nyo nga dati, so also put it down. Okay? So, sabihin natin ako, ang pangalan ko nga, buo kong pangalan, Lira Simon Kabatbat. Kung may asawa ako, no? Tapos ang asawa ko, ang pangalan niya Smith, no? Then I would be putting there, are you now or have ever been known by another name? I will be putting down Lira Simon Kabatbat or Lira Kabatbat Smith. No? Lagay nyo dan. If you were using a different name before, lagay nyo. Okay? That's what that section is about. Now, let's skip through because the other bits are not so confusing for people. So let me just have a look. I think the next bit that page 4. So page, you can have a look quickly at page 3, no? Page 3. So let me just have a look at page 3 quickly. So yeah. Now, so it's not so bad nga itong this section of the form. So it just asks you things like, how long have you been living at the address nga, status of your home, you own it, ganoon. So nothing too difficult, no? Now, but page 4, there's another confusion. Pangalan nyo after kung lalagay nyo yung Sorry. Ang problema, pagka live tayo, and clearly we are, no? Things like internet connection, no? It's the bane of my life. Anyway, sorry po. Now, sorry sa abala. Let's crack on. Now, yung nga, sabi ko kanina, no, parent details, lagay nyo nga doon, kahit namatay na nanay, tatay, so parent details yun. So at the bottom of that page, page 4, towards, let me have a look. So this is a problem you see with forms. It's helpful to go through the forms, but it's a bit of a pain to show on online. So employment, okay? Ibig sabihin, employment nyo. No? So, kung nagtatrabaho kayo sa kumpanya, pero kung nagtatrabaho kayo para sa sarili nyo, which is actually, I mean, we are a nation of entrepreneurs, no? So actually, we probably have quite a high percentage of people nga working for ourselves, no? So self-employed ang kailangan yung lagay doon na status, okay? Now, what is your job? So, what is your job? It's exactly that, no? You could be, I know, you could be a teacher, banker, or you could be a farmer, ganon, no? So, how much do you earn? And they actually want to know, no? Don't be tempted, and this is something I come across, unfortunately, a bit too often, is do not be tempted to rack up, yung sweldo nyo. Kung hindi naman totoo, kailangan nyo lagay uli, lagi yung totoo. So you need to make a frank disclosure nga. So kung income nyo, I don't know, per annum is ₱1 million o 200,000 pesos, kung ano man, no? Yung kailangan yung lagay. And see, and try, you need to also back it up. So kung meron kayong negosyo, kaya, no, kung bago pa nga lang negosyo nyo, they could be that you don't have those tax documents, but you have maybe your bank account nga. Pero kailangan, again, this is why for visit visas, well, for any applications really, but especially visit visas, normally I prepare nga a statement. Dahil doon ko lalagay nga a bit more explanation anong income nyo, no? And for a lot of my clients, the income is not massive, no, but the cost of coming into the UK, the holiday cost, is actually being paid for by someone else. That's why I always say in statement that my income is enough to pay for my expenditure or my family's expenses. But I'm looking to come into the UK, and that will be paid for in full by my mother, for example, or by my father, or by my sister or brother, ganon. Lalagay nyo, no, in the statement. So that's those are the things that they want to see. So wag kayo mahiya. Kung ano man trabaho nyo, yun lagay nyo. But importante nga din, try and see if you can find documents to support that. You don't just say, no, because it's your application, and it is for you to show that to back up what you say, no. Now, let me have a look at the next page, page 5. Now, there are a couple of interesting things on page 5. So let me just highlight them to you. So how much money were you personally planning to spend on your visit into the UK? Again, nakakalito to. Because people say, well, how do I calculate it? So it has to be an approximation to some extent. It doesn't have to be also a lot. Dahil kung wala kayong perang gaano, no? And that's actually shown on your bank statement nga. Then you put down a fairly small figure, especially, well, I mean, if you're not planning, I should say, to pay for anything dahil ang kamag-anak niyong sasalungat sa inyo dito, then you just put down a figure. No? It doesn't have to be massive. And then again, in your statement, lagay nyo nga, no, that you're actually not going to be spending, you're not anticipating spending anything at all when you're in the UK. Dahil bibigyan kayo ng allowance, no, you'll be taken out, ganon, no. So make sure that's in your statement nga. And then total amount of money you spend each month. Okay. That is your total amount of money that you spend each month. No? Then the tasks, will anyone be paying towards the cost of your visit? That's when you say yes. No? Um, so, and then it asks, who's paying towards the cost of your visit? Someone I know, for example, family, friend. It's a drop-down list. So the bit I normally choose is someone I know, for example, family or friend. Tapos nilalagay ko, subsequently, ang pangalan nila, saan sila nakatira. So how much money will they be paying towards your visit? For example, they are put down I include the airline fee. Okay, so whatever you spend nga. And why are they helping you pay for your visit? It doesn't have to be anything too long. Lalagay ko doon so and so is applicant's mother. Okay, and then again I give it a bit more information in the statement, because again you have just a small box. Now, because the cost is being borne by a third party, nanay nyo, mag-anak nyo dito, kaya importante nga din, hindi nga lang yung dokumento yung papasok nyo, but also yung dokumento nila, bank statements nila. Kung may trabaho sila dito, again, payslips nga nila. Okay? So you need to show that talagang kayang-kaya nga nila pagka nandito kayo. And then he asks you, same section, family in the UK, do you have family in the UK? If you do, you put down yes. Kailangan yung lista doon. No? Yung pamilya nyo nga. They're not normally interested in second cousin, ganon, but they do want to know family members that you have substantial, if you like, that substantially are related to you, or indeed substantially you have contact with. Okay? Kailangan yung lagay doon. Kailangan yung ding lagay doon, detalya nga nila. So let me just go on to the next page 6. Okay? Which again is to the sections that I have marked in red, finance and travel history. Now, finance. Have you received any public funds in the United Kingdom? Of course you haven't. No? Well, unless of course you were here before, tapos umalis kayo, pabalik nga kayo dito. But I've not actually come across an application where my client entered the UK and then left, and then coming in nga as a visit visa, and in the meantime nung nandito sila, they got public funds, universal credit, for example. So normally you would put no, but of course if for whatever reason you did get public funds now when you were in the UK, when you were here before, then you need to put that down. But as I say, I've never come across such a situation. Travel history, importante din po ito, no? You have to declare what visa you've been issued in the last 10 years. Okay? Huwag niyo kalimutan. Lagay niyo lahat doon. Lista niyo nga. No? Now, but it then asks towards the bottom nga, no? Have you ever entered the UK illegally? Right? Hopefully not is the answer. But because you will find actually if you have if you've had an immigration background, sabihin natin, pumasok nga kayo dito, nagka-problema, you became an overstayer, and then you left the UK, goes back to the Philippines, and you want to come back in to visit lang you will find you will have difficulties, because they will say, well, hang on, if you breach your immigration condition before, you are, from their point of view, more likely to breach it again. So you have to be realistic also. So hindi nga lang yung basta-basta. Okay? Now, let me skip a couple of pages because they're kind of fairly clear. So it asks things like also now, have you committed war crimes? Ganon. I mean, I would hope that it's no is the answer. So let me skip through those until you get to page 9. I'll show you this section is actually quite important. No, extra information. I put that in red. Now, so sabi nga dito, that section, if you needed to add more information about your application, but were not able to, you can write it here. Sabi nila, no? If there's no further information you want to add, click Save and Continue button, ganon. Usually I put there, please refer to statement, to applicant statement. doon ko nilalagay. O kung hindi lang nga statement nyo, dahil yung tita nyo o tito nyo nga ang sasalo sa inyo pagka nandito kayo, then I put down, please refer to applicant statement and statements from third parties. No? Yun. No? O kung gusto nyo, listan yung mga statement nila. By that, I mean yung parang affidavit rather than bank statements. Doon ko nilalagay. Just to again tell the decision maker, to remind the decision maker that they should look at the statements nga, that this application is supplemented by the statements. Okay? So this section, even though it's quite short, no, and looks fairly uncontroversial, is quite important. No? Now, following page, no? Page 10 tayo. So, now, this I printed out, this is why I was keen to submit nga, I'll show you a document that I had completed nga before. Makikita niyo dyan, under documents, there are, if you like, two categories, no? There are mandatory documents, so you must provide them. And there are then something called other documents. The must are, in this case nga, because it's a visit visa, is passport. Okay? Passport nyo, importante nga yun. No? So a scanned copy of your passport. Normally, I submit not just the bio data, but the whole thing, especially if you've been in and out of the UK before. No? So I submit usually a scanned copy of the whole passport nga. Now, other documents, so these are things that they want you to submit. No? And otherwise, if you don't submit them, it could be that you get a refusal then. So evidence of support, no, you will receive from your sponsor, for example, no, including details of what support is being provided and how. I go back to the same thing, statement, no, statement nyo. Dalalagay nyo doon, I provided bank statements for my aunt, for example. This shows income of whatever it is. You will see that there's a credit as at whatever date of a few £1,000, and that's clearly she's able to provide for me whilst I'm in the United Kingdom. Ganon, no? And then evidence that your sponsor is not and will not be in breach of UK immigration laws at the time of your visit. So kung wala silang visa, then they can't sponsor you. That's kind of self-explanatory. Evidence of funds available to you, which are clearly accessible by you. Now, that's a bit of a, that can cause confusion. Dahil kung ang magbibigyan, ang sasalo sa inyo, yung auntie nyo, sabihin natin, no? Then you may not be able to access the income, access their assets, no? Their savings, nga, just like that. And, fair enough. But I would still, it's still, yung bank statements nga nila will still be needed, no? So invitation, no, and I'll come back to that in relation to the question. One of the questions: invitation from your UK-based or family or friends, and evidence of their permission to be in the United Kingdom. So ibig pong sabihin, you don't necessarily need a sponsor as such, okay? Pero kung pupunta kayo dito, bibisitahin nyo nga yung kamag-anak nyo nga dito, then for goodness sake, prepare a statement for them. So lalagay nyo doon, ano bang status nila dito? Yun ang umpisa. No? Ang pangalan nilang buo, saan sila nakatira, and start with, I'm Filipino, but I have indefinite leave to remain. Or I'm Filipino, but I have a visa as a worker. No? And this will end on whenever that is. Okay? So yun ang umpisa. And then usually I would say the sponsor says, I make this statement in support of my niece's application for visit visa to visit me in the United Kingdom. I fully support her application because, so lalagay nyo nga doon. So again, statement. So you're looking at not one, but two statements. Yeah. So statement galing nga sa sponsor nyo, sa kamag-anak nyo nga, sponsors, not really. So the person who's sasalo nga sa inyo dito, and yung kaibigan nyo nag-iimbita nga sa inyo dito, and of course kayo, no? Setting out your circumstances also. Importante po yun. Mga abogado, normally, I prepare, well, I not normally, I always do, prepare legal representations. And sometimes in the legal representations, I deal with my client's circumstances. So sometimes I don't need to submit a separate statement. Pero kung kayo mismo magpapasok, then and you may not be submitting legal representations because I suppose why would you, then importante po yung statement. Dahil kailangan yung pakita nga sa kanila ano bang sitwasyon. They're not going to guess. And if you make them guess, then they may make it a negative decision nga. And evidence also of relationship, and that's easy. Kung inimbita kayo ng nanay nyo nga, tatay nyo dito, then it could be that you simply need to submit nga a copy of your birth certificate. Okay, so yun. Now, let me take you through. So yung po, no? Oh, but a tip nyo, when you submit your application nga, either kung wala kayong abogado and you're submitting it yourself in your statement, no? You may want to also list ano bang pinapasok nyo, ano bang kasama ng application. So you can say in your statement, these are my situations. In support of my application, I have also provided the following. Ilista nyo. Okay? So if it's bank statements, lagyan nyo bank statements for this time, for this date to this date nga. So ilista nyo nga doon. So if you like, again, it's a double check na nandoon nga yung mga nandun yung ipapasok nyo sa kanila. No? So when they look at your application, your statement, makikita nila, oh, okay, there were 6 months bank statements, for example. No? Passport nga galing sa kamag-anak nyo, because of course you need to be able to show that you should show that they exist. No? You need to prove nga also yung status nga nila. Now, towards the bottom of that page, I've highlighted again payment. No? So yun. Now, 6 month, the length of your visa. So you can make an application for 6-month visa. I think 2 years still exists, 5 years, 10 years. I saw one time, and I think it only happened, I've only seen it one time, a long time ago now. I think someone was granted a 20-year visa. And not too long ago, I say not too long ago, about 2 years ago, I saw one for, I think it was 10 years, no? So you can get that. Hindi naman ibig sabihin nandito, pwede kayo there for 10 years. It's 6 months every time you enter the United Kingdom. But typically, it's usually 6 months nga lang. No? But I would say to you, when you make an application nga, you have a choice. Is it single, no? Single entry or multiple? Choose the multiple in case plans change, for example. O pumasok kayo dito, tapos you find actually in 3 months' time, you have a holiday, no? And you want to come to the UK again, or there's a celebration, no? Then you may, kung hindi papasok yung visa nyo, then you can use the same visa. No? You don't need to make another application. Now, as I've said, the fee is actually $178 US dollars. It was $145 not too long ago, but they raised it. Now, consent, of course, that you need to tick the box that says, I confirm that I understand and accept all the information. Now, let me just show you also page 11. No, we're nearly there. No, nearly to the end. Okay, page 11, third-party declaration. Pakita niyo doon. So, mga kliyente ko, nandito, anong ibig sabihin nito? That's for me. Kung meron kayong abogado, then because I completed it for you, I have to confirm that what I've noted on the form are correct to the best of my knowledge. And some people have gotten into trouble, no? Actually, mga abogado nga, in confirming when in fact they were not correct. No? So you'll find kung meron kayong abogado, they will be very particular about the details nga. No? Hindi nga lang to basta-basta. Because we will need to confirm, because we completed it for you, and the correspondence comes to us nga, na tama nga yung sinasabi namin, yung sinasabi nyo. Okay? And that's why solicitors also will document things. They will say, okay, itong sinabi nyo sa akin, this is the application. Usually kami, when we complete applications, visit visa or any other applications, natapos namin, tapos papadala namin sa kliyente namin, we say, okay, you look this over, make sure that it's all correct. And then kung may mali, we make the change before submitting the application. And when we make changes, babalik namin sa inyo, we will say, can you look this over again, just to check that it's okay. And part of that, the reason, of course, I mean, you want to get it right, but also because we as third parties need to declare that what we say here are correct. Okay, so yung nga. So that, if you like, is the visit visa application. No? It's a long form, but not as long as others, frankly. Tip ko, for any kind of application, most of the time, unless it's fairly clear and unless you can deal with it in your legal representations, if, of course, if you're a solicitor, um, normally I would want you to prepare, I normally prepare for my clients statements, parang affidavit, as I say. And it doesn't have to be anything formal, but it needs to be fairly clear. Wag yung, no, that long does not mean it's good. It needs to be relevant. No? So you don't need to go on about too much about you miss them. It's been a difficult year. Ganon, naglista yung mga, you put down things that may not necessarily be relevant nga. They want to see, why are you coming into the United Kingdom? Kung nandito kayo, kung hindi nyo perang gagamitin nyo, why? No? Who is it? No? Is there any particular reason why now? No? Kung meron kayong anong babalikan nyo sa atin? For example, no? Kung nag-aaral kayo, maybe you're coming during the holidays and then you're going to go back. O kung meron kayong trabaho nga, you've been given a holiday of 1 month, for example, or indeed a sabbatical, which is a longer holiday. No? So all those things kailangan nyo nga ilagay. So especially if you're doing it yourself, ang payo ko, statements. No? Para bang affidavit nga. Hindi lang para sa inyo, but also whoever is supporting you to come into the United Kingdom. Okay? I've spent so long, this is why I've shied away from dealing with applications generally in the past, and this is the reason for it, that ang haba nga, no? And this is frankly a shortened version nga of what we need to deal with as solicitors, no? But anyway, so if you're completing a visit visa application, good luck, and hopefully this helps nga as regards those points that are often confusing. Now, okay, so gosh, we're running out of time, but I cannot miss ang batian natin. So let's go through. Hopefully may mga taong bumabati sa akin. So let's say hello to them. Okay? Now, Outcast. Kumusta po? Good evening, Attorney Lira. Sabi niya, hope you're safe and warm. Ay, nako. Yeah, warm is right, actually. Well, it's not as hot as it was a few days ago, but mainit pa rin. It's kind of muggy, di ba? No? Hopefully you too are safe and not too warm. Actually, I don't know if you can hear it. I have a fan near me. Oh, Guy, the great guy from London. Sabi niya, cloudy Thursday. Tama ka. Cloudy Thursday to Tony Lira and to the viewers. I work from home today and I'm taking care of Justin now. Justin is a young man. He's a little boy. Still good news, Attorney Lira. Sabi niya, I'm still tap send ambassador. It's a money remittance to Pilipinas. No bonus of £15. Sabi niya, for first-time users. Looking forward to lots of learning again and to Attorney Lira's lovely voice. Guy, the great guy. He is a great guy. Kamusta, Guy? Kamusta? And love to Justin, huh? Miss Paner, Marian Galicia Paner. Miss Paner and I have been together doing this since COVID, no? Miss Paner, di ba? Hello po, Attorney Lira, sa amin dyan, no? At sa lahat, happy Thursday po sa ating lahat. Happy Thursday po, Madam. I hope you're well and you're enjoying this, I suppose, heat, no? Ang init nga ngayon. I was actually madly, hosing down the garden because it was so hot, no? Oh, Natalia de Guzman. Kamusta? Good topic. Mistake is part of our lives. Tama ka, no? Good you tackled this. Very helpful to everyone. No, tama ka. Exactly. And someone told me once, and I can't remember who, sabi nga, you learn more from your mistakes than when you get things right. And actually, tama, no? I always remember my mistakes, or rather, what had happened subsequently, than say, when I get things right. No, it's not funny. But yeah, tama ka. Mistakes absolutely happens. And it's not at all unusual. And that is actually one of the mga questions nga mamaya, no? So I don't know kung meron pa tayong mga viewers. Miss Giling! Hi, Miss Giling! Hi, good evening po. Ma'am, sabi niya, happy Thursday to all viewers. Miss Giling, M.M. Giling, is a lovely, lovely lady. And actually, buo niyang pamilya. They're great. They're one of the hardest working families I know. And Miss Giling has been in the UK for yonks, but she I mean she goes back no regularly because we all love the Philippines. Kamusta Miss Giling? And she when she comes back, she very kindly brings me stuff. Bagoong. Ano bagoong? Oh, David Calixto II, sabi niya, no? Good evening. I'm Egay. I'm Egay, the guy supporter. Saw this shared in his timeline, sharing this live in case some of my friends needed it. Salamat po. Salamat. I tell you what, look, I commend you for supporting Egay, because Egay is a great guy and he talks sense. But welcome, David, welcome po. And I do hope that it's of use to you, mga kaibigan o kamag-anak mo, no? Oh, Miss Rafael. Oh, new picture. I love this. Miss Rafael hails from Wimbledon. She's feeling good because she's all caps. Hello, good evening, sabi po niya, Atty. Lira. And happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday po, Miss Rafael. I hope you're doing well when enjoying this seasonably warm, no? Unusually seasonably warm weather. Watching from home in Wimbledon. Yeah, tennis has just finished, no, diba? I didn't actually see any of it, or not even on TV. So I'm quite sad about that. It's just been so busy of late. So not even time for tennis. Oh, Ma'am Cora, another pioneer. Ma'am Cora Carsola. Hello, Tony, sabi niya, no? Atty. Lira and everyone. Love from Virginia Beach. See you all next week. Wow, Ma'am Cora, kamusta po? I hope you're enjoying it. Are you there on holiday? No, I hope you are. No, it's not work, right? But enjoy. Now, Miss Paner, I'm okay po, Attorney. Salamat po. No, thank you for joining us, Miss Paner. I say always, no, I started broadcasting in during COVID. Then ang mga tao nalilito, and ako nga din, no, I wanted to just see if I could help to say, nagbebahe kayo, itong kailangan mangyari. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And now 5 years, 2000, di ba? 2000 and COVID. 5 years later, Miss Paner and I, and the rest of you, no, we're still together. Speaking of Miss Nadella, Risa Nadella, Attorney Lira, you're the best. Oh, Miss Nadella. I love Miss Nadella. She's so lovely. She is such a happy person, no? May mga tao, you see them, and just to see them, they put a smile on your face. It's just one of those. You don't have many of those people, no? So Miss Nadella is lovely. She's a great person. So thank you for saying hello, Miss Nadella. Signo mo, you just said hello, again puts a smile on my face. Thank you for that. Now, let's zoom through our questions because it's anyway, I'm running late, so bear with me, no? So right, so this is my next question. Sabi po niya dito, okay, I need your help regarding my mother's UK visit visa application. I just realized that I mistakenly switched her given name and surname on the application form. Unfortunately, she already completed the biometrics just yesterday. Before we noticed the error. I've already sent an inquiry to the UKVI, paid £2. I think it's actually £2.78, no? But I'm really worried because the name on the application doesn't match her passport. No? According to my mother, the VFS staff did ask her about her name and surname during the appointment. But at the time, we weren't aware of the mistake. What would be the best thing to do in this situation? Sabi niya, should we cancel the application, reapply, or is there another way to correct it? So this was our start question because this viewer gave me the idea of how to deal with the application form, visit visa application. Sorry, ang init ulit, no? So pamaypay ako. Now, so what to do? Nagkamali nga yung form. Mistakes happen. Hindi yung problema. So let me just clarify a couple of things nga. UKVI. So UKVI is the UK's Home Office, no, if you like, no, responsible for managing the visa system, visa applications. Yon. Now, ang payo ko, don't cancel for now. You've done the right thing though, okay? Because you put in a request, and this is done by email nga. You put in the request and you paid your £2 or £2.74, I think, no? So, ang payo ko though is this. So rather than saying, well, itong problema, what do I do? Because they never reply, really, to say, what do you do? Because actually, they're not allowed to give advice. Ang payo ko, where mistakes happen, and it can happen, no? It can happen to us too, you know? What I would say is you put down not so much a question or an inquiry, but rather the position. So, kung ako ikaw, I would say, write, on behalf of your mother, so I applied for a visit visa, lagay mo yung reference, and I carried out biometric on whenever that was. I subsequently noticed an error on my application form. Lagay mo, no? The form noted my name as, but it's in fact this, no? So as shown on my passport. Please place this email with my application form for the decision maker. So you're saying to them, look, may mali nga dito. Can this document, can this email be placed with my application? So makikita nga nila. Now, where there are minor mistakes, so typos, for example, o kaya you forgot to put down the passport number, but you actually submitted the passport nga, they normally would disregard minor errors. Now, I would hope that this would be considered a minor error. So I wouldn't now necessarily withdraw it. I mean, they can refuse, absolutely, if you make a mistake. So I've come across, for example, cases where rather than putting down 40,000, someone put down 4,000. How would they know that you meant 40,000? So the refusal was made. So it can get refused, but I would hope, given the fact that yung passport, and there are probably other documents to show anong pangalan niyang totoo, whoever looks at it will hopefully spot that it was simply a genuine mistake, and that there was nothing untoward about it. Keep me informed, please. But thank you for this star question. Now, so another question. Good morning, good evening, no? Ano po ang mga paraan para makapunta ang kapatid ko dito? Is 45 years old, HRM, I suppose is Hotel Retail Management, no? Graduate, no? International cruise ship experience as waiter, assistant, cook. Magkano pong consultation fee nyo? Well, depends what I need to do, but this you get for free, okay? When you tune in to Lira and Law, you get for free. And my answer is this. It depends really kung anong gusto niyang gawin dito. Kung gusto niya magtrabaho dito, then you're looking at coming into the UK under this points-based system, under the work, to get a work visa. Ibig sabihin, kailangan niya unang-una sponsor. Problema nga lang, and I'm always frank with my clients nga, if they ask me, and if you were my client, I would be telling you this also. Problema nga lang, waiter, assistant, cook, I don't know that there would be, you would get a sponsor dito. You never know, but I mean the job also is probably not of sufficient level to be sponsored in the UK. So yun. So I sometimes to enter the UK to work, you must have a skill set now that they want in the UK. So yun. Okay. But good luck. Hopefully you can. I mean, visit visa, for example. Yung nga lang, hindi siya pwede magtrabaho pagka nandito siya. Now, another question nga nito. Sabi niya, I'd like to ask for your guidance regarding visit visa requirements for my mother and sister who are planning to come to the UK soon. I've come across terms like, I like this question, affidavit of support, and CFO. I have no idea what CFO is. Could you kindly clarify what these mean? Do they need to secure these documents before they travel to the UK? I'd really appreciate your advice on this, as I'm not familiar with the process. Thank you so much in advance. Okay, this is easy in that affidavit of support means exactly that. It's statement. So there's no formal document, no? Na kailangan yung there's no format, no? Mandatory format that you need. But your statement is like affidavit nga, affidavit in support. So it's all the same. Basically, yung lalagay nyo nga doon yung istorya nyo, no? And to support your application. But it doesn't have to be anything fancy, no? Normally, I like also my clients to sign their statements nga, to confirm that they approve it. And of course, don't forget to date it also. So as I've said before, kung wala kang abogado, you'll find you compare your statement nga, lalagay nyo nga doon yung situation nyo nga, and then towards the bottom of that statement, you can say, in support of the above, I've provided the following, listing nyo ulit. Okay, so it's much the same. Affidavit, statement in support, it's all the same. Okay, but don't forget to date it. Okay? Now, I'm sure there's some more questions. Let me have a look. Oh, okay. Hello, Attorney Sabi niya. I would just like to ask, how can I find out if I am on a 5-year or 10-year visa route under the spouse visa? In the initial decision letter I received, there was no specific indication about which route was granted. Okay, that's interesting. Tingnan mo ulit yung sulat nga. It should be, actually, I was just looking at one today for my client nga. It should be on the first page and midway through, no, the letter. So it will say their 5-year or 10-year route. Now, if you can't find it, because sometimes it's not noted, then you can apply for a copy of your file from the Home Office, a subject access request. No? There's a fee, which I think is just £10 lang naman. It's an application you can make online. Get that, makikita mo doon when you get your disclosure nga, whether it's been granted on a 5-year or 10-year route. Yeah. But balikan mo muna yung sulat mo. But for a lot of applicants nga, it's often useful to have your Home Office file. So makikita mo doon, okay, kung hindi ka binigyan, kung hindi nila binigay yung application mo, they granted you on an alternative basis. What is that? No? And why? No? So you can do a subject access request, okay, from the Home Office, and then you'll get a copy of your file. Now, I don't know if meron pa tayong questions. It could be that was the last question nga natin. Yes, it is the last question nga natin. Now, sorry again for the slight mishap nga kanina, no? And I'm so grateful for you, for you joining me, spending your time with me, which is, I'm sure, valuable. I'm sure you can be doing something else like eating. I'm saying that because I haven't eaten. So, salamat po ulit sa inyong lahat. Shout outs to the Facebook groups nga that allow us to post our contents on their page. Remember, kung meron kayong mga question, send it to me before by next Wednesday nga, and I'll try and deal with it. And you never know, you may get some bragging rights as a star question nga. So, salamat po ulit, and I hope to see you again next week, same time, same place at Lira and Law. Good night.